What's hood, everybody? Before we get started, I want to thank everybody that joined my membership program on Patreon. Y'all straight sold me out on the platinum tier twice last year and recently last month. That's crazy. I also want to thank all the producers, DJs, engineers, podcasters, artists, and content creators around the world that partnered with me for coaching and one-on-one tech support over at omniproaudio.com. Shout out to my bro Vincent Andrews from Birmingham, Alabama. My brother Minister Travis out of San Diego, California. My dude Anthony Smith out of Nashville, Tennessee. My homie DJ Flipside on the ones and twos from Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out my guy Krishna from India. And my lil bro, Lil Leaf, out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. If you want to learn DAWs like Pro Tools, Reasons, or FL Studio, or if you want to improve your music production, beat making, recording, or mixing skills, hire me as your mentor. Go to omniproaudio.com and sign up to receive up to 75% off all learning and support sessions. Limited spots are available. Also, for premium top-tier tech support and coaching, schedule a one-on-one Zoom meeting with me at zoom.omniproaudio.com. The choice and use of a DAW is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. OmniPro Audio maintains this channel exclusively for informational purposes. It is not legal advice and does not necessarily represent the opinion of JSA's OmniPro Audio or its clients. Now that we got the legal stuff out the way, what is Pro Tools Intro? Pro Tools Intro is the free version of the latest Pro Tools software and is ideal for people who are curious about using Pro Tools. This is a great way to learn Pro Tools without having to buy a perpetual license or start a subscription. And if you're completely new to audio production and/or looking to get a new Focusrite interface, you might even qualify for Pro Tools Intro Plus for Focusrite, which comes with double the amount of free plugins. According to Avid's website, Pro Tools Intro is free forever, so you don't have to worry about being forced to upgrade or counting how many days you got left in the free trial. I've created my very own easy-to-read matrix in Google Sheets to help us compare Pro Tools Intro and Pro Tools Intro Plus to the perpetual and subscription versions of the Pro Tools software. This is one of the fastest ways to see all of the differences in the Pro Tools tiers. The Pro Tools feature and plugin matrix is free for all of my Patreon members, and non-members can get access to it as well at omniproaudio.com. At the top of the matrix, we got the pricing comparison. Be sure to use my links in the description or the matrix if you want to buy a Pro Tools Perpetual license. First feature on the list, cloud collaboration. Pro Tools allows you to accept invitations to collaborate with other Pro Tools users around the world. You can work in the same session with other users in different studios at the same time. You can even collaborate at different times, seeing what someone has added minutes, hours, or days ago. I use this feature with other producers, engineers, and artists when collaborating, teaching how to use Pro Tools, or assisting my clients with projects all the time. Keep in mind that with Pro Tools Intro, you can't host or initiate a collaboration. You can only participate. Pro Tools artists, studio, and ultimate users can initiate collaborations, and they also get 1 gig of free cloud storage. Unfortunately, this feature is not available to some countries. Now we're going to cover track types. Pro Tools provides different types of tracks in various formats for working with audio, MIDI, and video in a Pro Tools session. We're going to look at the different types of tracks available, what their limitations are in Pro Tools Intro, and how many tracks you can use simultaneously in a Pro Tools Intro session. I'm going to remove my iLock and launch Pro Tools to temporarily switch from Pro Tools Studio to Pro Tools Intro. Be sure to subscribe to my channel as I will be covering in more detail how to do this in a future video. All right, we got an empty session open in Pro Tools Intro. No tracks at the moment. Let's start with the audio track. An audio track in Pro Tools is a track that can import, record, print, and playback audio. You can have up to 8 audio tracks in Pro Tools Intro. This can be 8 mono audio tracks, 8 stereo audio tracks, or a mixture of the two. You get 8 total. I'm going to create 3 mono audio tracks for my lead vocals, 4 mono audio tracks for my hook, and import 1 stereo audio track for my reference. If I try to exceed the 8 audio track limit, Pro Tools Intro will display the following error message or something similar. The maximum number of tracks already exists for this current Pro Tools configuration. Before we continue, let's compare the number of audio tracks you get per session in Pro Tools Intro to the paid versions of Pro Tools. Pro Tools Artist, you get 32. Pro Tools Studio, you get 512. And Pro Tools Ultimate, you get a whopping 2,048. Let's move on to instrument tracks. Instrument tracks allow you to use software and hardware instruments to record and monitor MIDI instruments. Just like audio tracks, you can have up to 8 instrument tracks in Pro Tools Intro. This can be 8 mono instrument tracks, 8 stereo instrument tracks, or a mixture of the two. I'm going to create 6 stereo instrument tracks and 2 mono instrument tracks. As you can see, if I try to exceed the instrument track limit, I'm confronted with a similar message like we saw a moment ago. Too many tracks entered for this current Pro Tools configuration. The maximum value will be substituted, and the amount of tracks will be automatically adjusted. Let's compare the number of instrument tracks you get per session in Pro Tools Intro to the paid versions of Pro Tools. Pro Tools Artist, you get 32 instrument tracks, and then Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate will get you 512 instrument tracks. So far, we have 16 tracks total in Pro Tools Intro. Let's move on to Midi Tracks. Midi Tracks allow you to record, store, and play back MIDI data in Pro Tools. You can have up to 8 MIDI tracks in Pro Tools Intro. If you exceed 8 MIDI tracks, you already know what's going to happen. Let's create 8 MIDI tracks. Alright, now comparing the number of MIDI tracks to the paid versions of Pro Tools. Pro Tools Artist will get you 64 MIDI tracks, and Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate will get you 1,024 MIDI tracks. Up next would be the Basic Folder track. Basic folder tracks are used to keep your session organized and allow you to hide and reveal tracks that are members of that folder. You get unlimited basic folder tracks in all versions of Pro Tools, including Pro Tools Intro. I'm going to create 2 basic folder tracks in this example. Now I'm going to move all of my MIDI tracks into one of those folders. See how these tracks are now organized and how I can easily hide or reveal them at my leisure? You can even move folder tracks into a folder, helping you further organize your session. Our next track type would be the routing folder track. It allows you to organize your tracks just like a basic folder while having the abilities of an aux track. Before we talk about how many routing folder tracks you can have in Pro Tools Intro, I have to first explain what an aux track is. Auxiliary input tracks, or aux tracks, have many uses in Pro Tools. They can be used as effect sends, destinations for submixes, and many other signal routing tasks. You can have up to 4 auxiliary tracks in Pro Tools Intro. This can be 4 mono aux tracks, 4 stereo aux tracks, or a mixture of the two. Remember that a click track counts as one aux track. Routing folder tracks count as an aux track as well. Be mindful of that when working in Pro Tools Intro. I'm going to create 1 mono aux track, 1 stereo aux track, 1 stereo routing folder track, and 1 click track. I will be making a future video on how to keep your click track in Pro Tools Intro without compromising any of your 4 auxiliary tracks. Let's compare the number of aux and/or routing folder tracks that you get per session in Pro Tools Intro. Pro Tools Artist will get you 32 aux tracks, Pro Tools Studio will get you 128 aux tracks, and Pro Tools Ultimate will get you 1,024 aux tracks. Last, we got the Master Fader track. Master Fader tracks control the overall level of audio paths that are routed to physical output paths and provide post-fader effect processing. You can only have 1 Master Fader track in Pro Tools Intro and Pro Tools Artist. This can be 1 mono Master Fader track or 1 stereo Master Fader track. If you have any stereo tracks in your session at all, I suggest you go with a stereo Master Fader track. You can have up to 64 Master Fader tracks in Pro Tools Studio and a whopping 512 Master Fader tracks in Pro Tools Ultimate. Well, for Pro Tools Ultimate, we just gonna say unlimited Master Fader tracks. The track types you don't get in Pro Tools Intro would be VCA Master Tracks and Video Tracks. These track types are only available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. Alright, so the total track count in Pro Tools Intro and Pro Tools Intro for Focusrite, if you don't include basic folder tracks, is 29 tracks total. That's 8 audio tracks, 8 instrument tracks, 8 MIDI tracks, 4 auxiliary tracks, and 1 Master Fader track. Are you thinking about buying a Pro Tools Perpetual license so you can own it for life, no subscription, and get free updates for a year? Be sure to use my links in the description or in the Omnibeatz Audio feature and plugin matrix to get started for the low. Make your first payment to start using Pro Tools today and make 5 other payments monthly. No credit check, no interest, and no late fees. Ever. Now we're going to look at edit window rulers. You get access to several rulers in the edit window in all versions of Pro Tools. In Pro Tools Intro, you don't get access to timecode 2, or feeding frames. These 3 rulers are normally used when working with video. This makes sense since you also don't get access to video tracks. Next on our list is I/O bus paths. Buses or bus paths are used to route signals in Pro Tools. You can create unlimited bus paths in all versions of Pro Tools, including Pro Tools Intro. Check out my video link, Pro Tools I/O Setup, in the top right-hand corner for more details. Simultaneous recording inputs. According to Avid's site, Pro Tools Intro is limited to recording 4 inputs simultaneously. Pro Tools Artist can record up to 16 inputs simultaneously, Pro Tools Studio can record up to 64 inputs at once, and Pro Tools Ultimate can record up to 256 inputs simultaneously. Track presets. Track presets allow you to save and recall the configuration and settings of one or multiple tracks. You can even save the audio and MIDI clips to recall in another session at a later time. If you're saving a track preset for a folder track or routing folder, you can also include all the member tracks as well. Track presets is available in all versions of Pro Tools. Software plugins. Software plugins are additional software that can be installed on your computer and used inside larger software programs to expand its features or functions. Pro Tools only supports AAX Plugin Format, short for Avid Audio Extension. So how many plugins come with Pro Tools? Pro Tools Intro comes with roughly 40 plugins, plus Focusrite comes with roughly 84 plugins, Pro Tools Artist comes with 110 plus plugins, and Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate come with 120 plus plugins. Be sure to subscribe to my channel as I will be breaking down exactly which plugins come with each version of Pro Tools. Third-party plugins. Third-party plugins are plugins created by other companies that can be used in Pro Tools. All current versions of Pro Tools support third-party AAX plugins, including Pro Tools Intro. Alright, so we got Quick Punch. I love using this feature on my Digi 002. Not to be confused with Track Punch, which I'll explain later. Quick Punch gives you the ability to manually and instantaneously punch in and out record-enabled audio tracks during playback by clicking the record button on the transport, shortcut key on the keyboard, or the Quick Punch button on the Digi 002 or Digi 003. Basic automation modes. Automation modes allow you to automate certain parameters in Pro Tools and control how automation is written and played back on a track. In Pro Tools Intro, you get access to basic automation modes such as read, write, touch, latch, and touch latch. Track meters. Meters show the level of a track signal and can be used to monitor headroom, peaks, perceived loudness, and more. Pro Tools Intro and Pro Tools Artist are restricted to 4 basic track meters: Sample Peak, Pro Tools Classic, Venue Peak, and Venue RMS. Gain reduction meter. This meter allows you to see the amount of gain reduction being done on a track. All of Avid's dynamic plugins are supported. A lot of third-party plugins are supported too, but there are some that are not. Automatic plugin delay compensation. This feature automatically corrects for latency induced by plugins. Without it, a track with heavier processing on it would play at a later time than showed in the timeline and sound off. You can view the delay compensation status indicator at the bottom of the track, and this feature can be toggled on and off under Options. Retrospective MIDI recording. This feature allows you to capture MIDI from your MIDI keyboard or controller during stop or playback without recording. Retrospective MIDI recording is supported in all versions of Pro Tools. Track freeze and commit. Pro Tools allows you to freeze and unfreeze tracks. Track freeze temporarily processes a track up to a desired point and freezes it in place, which frees up computer processing power for other tracks and tasks. Unfreeze to make changes and freeze again if running low on computer processing power. Commit. Pro Tools lets you commit tracks where a new track is created containing the audio rendered from the output of the source track. The source track can be hidden and made inactive in case you want to go back to it later. This is also useful for freeing up processing power. Also for sharing sessions with users who may not have all of the plugins you have. Track freeze and commit are available in all versions of Pro Tools, including Pro Tools Intro. Elastic audio. Elastic audio is a feature that allows you to manipulate audio in several ways. There's way too much on this feature to explain in this video, but elastic audio is one of the best features in Pro Tools, and it's also available in Pro Tools Intro. Playlist and track comping. Playlists allow you to save and switch between multiple performances on a track. Track comping is taking the best parts of each of those performances and compiling them into a single performance. allowing you to create the perfect performance. The playlist and track comping feature are both available in Pro Tools Intro. Beat Detective. The name says it all. Beat Detective is a powerful tool for analyzing, editing, and manipulating audio or MIDI data that has an inherent rhythmic character. With this tool, you can extract tempo, groove, and beat information. You can separate an audio selection into clips, conform those clips to the session's tempo, and more. Beat Detective is also available in Pro Tools Intro. You get clip gain. This is one of my favorite features in Pro Tools. Clip gain allows you to adjust the volume of the audio on any track on a per clip or clip group basis. Great for gain staging. Bit depth and sample rate settings. Bit depth and sample rate are settings that can determine the resolution or quality of audio recorded, imported, converted, or exported. Pro Tools Intro gets the same bit depth and sample rate settings as the paid versions of Pro Tools, up to 32-bit floating point bit depth and up to 192 kilohertz sample rate. To get access to the highest settings available, you'll need an audio interface that supports them. Do you have questions about Pro Tools, or do you wonder how I record, mix, and make beats in Pro Tools? Join us live on Zoom. Ask me anything you want to know about Pro Tools or my Pro Tools workflow, and I'll answer on the spot and share my screen to provide context. The sessions will also be recorded in case you sign up and can't make it. Go to protools.omniproaudio.com to see the next available date and time that works for you. Patreon members get free admission and can watch all previous Q&A sessions anytime at no charge. Okay, so here's our next feature, Sibelius Interoperability. I'm not even going to try to say that twice, but Pro Tools allows you to copy and paste music between Sibelius and Pro Tools. This feature is available in all versions of Sibelius and Pro Tools, including the free version, Sibelius First and Pro Tools Intro. Ableton Link support. Ableton Link is a feature in Pro Tools that keeps other linked-enabled applications in time over your local network. Play and stop, or change the tempo from another DAW outside of Pro Tools. Melodyne, also known as Audio to MIDI. Melodyne can be used in Pro Tools Intro, but must be purchased separately. You might already have a Melodyne Essentials Perpetual license, and you'll get to keep using it in Pro Tools Intro. Melodyne turns your audio into MIDI, allowing you to analyze and edit whole audio tracks or single audio clips. All right, so some more information on Pro Tools Intro and Pro Tools Intro for Focusrite. There are no time limits or session limits, and you're able to save all of your sessions on your local storage. You can reopen any Pro Tools Intro session whenever you want, and everything will be just the way you left it. You can also open sessions from other Pro Tools tiers, but the sessions will be limited to the Pro Tools Intro features. Paid features will be removed, and Pro Tools Intro track restrictions will be applied. If too many of any given track is found, Pro Tools will either disable or delete the track types that exceed the restrictions. So here's my honest opinion after forcing myself to do audio recordings for this video and all of my artist-musician sessions in Pro Tools Intro for the last 6 months. Make beats? Easily. Record songs? Easily. Record a podcast? Easily. Voiceovers? Easy. Learn to record and mix your music? Easily. In-the-box mastering? Sonically, it's possible with the right knowledge, experience, hardware, and/or plugins. There is no sonic quality difference between the different versions of Pro Tools. Your sound quality is going to depend entirely on you. Depending on how you utilize the tracks and features, it's very likely that you can create full instrumentals, songs, albums, and podcast episodes. Simply having a higher Pro Tools tier does not automatically make your music sound better, make you a better mixing engineer, or guarantee that your master will sound better than an experienced mastering engineer mastering your music in any DAW. The art of creating a beat, song, mix, or master can be made easier with certain tools and features, but it's something you have to learn, practice, and do consistently if you want to achieve that greatness. Pro Tools Intro is a great place to start. Fast track your pro audio career today by hiring me as your mentor. Go to omniproaudio.com, where we focus on where you are in your journey and take you to the next level no matter what DAW you use. OmniPro is the way to go. Now we're going to cover a couple of more add-on Avid apps that come with Pro Tools Intro. Avid Control. Avid Control is a control surface app for iOS, Android, and Fire OS devices. This app turns your mobile device into a control surface, allowing you to control and view several displays of your Pro Tools session from your phone or tablet. Avid Control is also free and can be downloaded from the Google Play, Apple App Store, or Amazon App Store. Pro Tools Sketch. Pro Tools Sketch is a non-linear clip-based tool for creating music and sound ideas. Capture new ideas and experiment with arrangements to create something you like. This feature is available in all versions of Pro Tools. It's also available as a free app in the Apple App Store for iPad users. Now we're going to talk about the features that you don't get. Aux IO Inputs and Outputs. Aux IO is a macOS only feature that allows you to add any core audio devices as inputs and outputs to your current playback engine. These will show up as additional devices in IO setup, just like any other interface. According to Avid's website, Aux IO is NA with Pro Tools Intro and cannot be configured in the IO setup. Clip effects. Clip FX, or Clip Effects, is a feature that allows you to apply audio processing like EQ, compression, or filtering directly to individual audio clips on a track, rather than applying the effect to the entire track. This is not to be confused with Audio Suite plugins. The full Clip Effects feature is only available in Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate. Pro Tools Artist has the limitation of only being able to play back clip effects. Advanced Automation. Advanced Automation, which includes preview and manual write modes, are only available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. Advanced Metering. This includes several additional track meters. Advanced Metering is available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. Track Punch. Track Punch not only allows individual tracks to be punched in and out, but also taken out of record enable mode without interrupting online recording and playback. Field Recorder Workflows. Pro Tools allows you to import multi-channel audio files and metadata recorded by field recorders. This is a Pro Tools Ultimate feature only. AFL and PFL settings. AFL, After Fader Listen, or PFL, Pre-Fader Listen solo mode are currently routed to the AFL-PFL path selected in the I/O setup. The full version of these modes and settings are not available in Pro Tools Intro or Artist, only Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate. We went over the video rulers earlier. They're only available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. Surround Sound. Surround Sound, Surround Mixing, and Surround I/O configurations are only available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. Export Selected Range. Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate allow you to export selected range. This is not to be confused with bouncing a selected range. This allows you to make a timeline selection and only have that section saved into a new session using the Save Session Copy In window. Single File Multi-Stem Bounce. Bounce multiple mixes in a single WAV file. This feature is only available in Pro Tools Studio and Pro Tools Ultimate. AAC Encode Decode support. Advanced audio coding, encode, and decode support is only available with paid versions of Pro Tools. AAF, OMF, MXF File Interchange. Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate lets you exchange audio, video, and sequences with other AAF, MXF, and OMF compatible applications such as Media Composer. Extended RAM Disk Cache. Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate allow you to assign more or less RAM to the disk cache. This significantly improves playback performance, especially for large sessions. AAX DSP Plugin Format. This allows plugins to utilize dedicated hardware processing power on a compatible audio interface, typically used in high-end Pro Tools HDX systems for significantly reduced CPU load on the computer itself. Satellite Link Remote. Pro Tools Studio and Ultimate support Satellite Link. This feature lets you link multiple systems over an Ethernet network. ARA2 Plugin Support. Pro Tools support a range of industry-leading plugins via ARA2, available to users who have an active Pro Tools subscription or a perpetual license with an active upgrade plan. All right, so you get Pro Tools Intro. What kind of support you're going to get? Avid currently provides support for Pro Tools Intro through the Avid community forums. You only get premium support from Avid with a paid subscription or a Pro Tools Perpetual license with an active 1-year support update plan. If you want live one-on-one premium support for any version of Pro Tools, you already know where to find me. All right, in closing, there are a ton of other features and workflows found in all versions of Pro Tools like coloring tracks, tab to transient, continuous window scrolling, and more. This video, for the most part, goes over the differences between Pro Tools Intro Plus for Focusrite, and the paid versions of Pro Tools. There are also features that are subscription only that I might have missed, meaning you will need a Pro Tools Artist, Studio, or Ultimate subscription, or a perpetual license with an active update and support plan to access them. You can review those further on my Pro Tools feature and plugin matrix and on Avid's website. Also, be sure to watch out for part 2 where I'll go over all the plugins you get and don't get with Pro Tools Intro Plus for Focusrite, and the paid versions of Pro Tools.